Peace, peace, family. This video right here is about the power of shapes. Now, I'm not gonna go in every shape, but I'm gonna give y'all a jump, and from here y'all should be able to literally work y'all magic. Now, with that being said, we're gonna do square, triangle, and circle. Now you have two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So we're gonna take these two-dimensional shapes and turn them three-dimensional. And geometry is used to do this. Now you have what you call geomancy. Geomancy would be like the study of shapes and configuring them in a specific manner to where they direct energy flow. Now, homes are built according to geomancy, but shapes themselves are built according to geomancy. So we got the square, the triangle, the circle, aka the cube, the pyramid, and the sphere. Now, the square angles, 490-degree angles create a square. So now we know that a square is can become three-dimensional, making it a cube. So now a square, certain angles create what you would call, let's say, patterns or laws. Okay, they create certain laws. There we go. Certain angles, physical shape creates laws, and energy becomes subject to this law of the shape once within it. Now, with that being said, a cube, the law that energy must follow in a cube is containment. A square contains energy. This is why when you give somebody a present, you give it to them in a box. Or when you die, you go in a box or a rectangle, but you get my drift. It's a 490-degree angles. So it's still in that form. When you go to jail, they put you in a cell, a box. The cell is square. Now, I can go on and on and on about things that hold energy that are in a square. This is not a coincidence. This is because the square is meant to contain energy. So anything in a square, the energy stands still. It no longer can flow as freely. So the shape of a square contains energy. Period. That is what it is meant to do, to foundate energy. Now a circle, or when it becomes three-dimensional, a sphere, allows energy to flow freely. This is why anything in nature that has to do with the flow of energy is a sphere or a circle. For example, a woman's womb gives birth. Energy must flow out. It's a circle. Tube. The universe, galaxies, spiral, circle. They give birth to planets. They must, all those atoms, all that energy out there must flow in order to create a solar system. Circle. My locks, energy flowing out of my head, being pulled by gravity. Spiral, circle. Anything that allows or conducts energy must be in a circular or 360-degree angle or form in order to, because the law of any energy subject to 360 degrees is constantly flowing, a constant motion. It's forever, eternal. Now, pyramid. A pyramid actually refreshes and recycles energy. So this if we look at a triangle and we go to make it three-dimensional, it becomes two shapes in one. It becomes a square, which is containment, and a triangle, which is ascension. It allows energy to ascend. So the pyramid is so powerful as a shape because it's two shapes in one. Now, by the base of the pyramid being a square, it's containing energy. But by the rest of the pyramid being a triangle or 45-degree angles, it's ascending energy. So these two shapes together actually cause energy to refresh. And what I mean by that is as the pyramid is projecting energy out of itself, the square or the 90-degree bottom of the pyramid is actually containing energy, which is or holding energy. So it's pulling energy in. So the pyramid is actually refreshing itself. And you can go right now on YouTube. They got videos where people put a dull blade underneath the pyramid and left it there for a certain amount of time. And when they came back, the blade was razor sharp. because the power that the pyramid generates by being two shapes in one is refreshing the energy and is emitting energy at the same time. So it's pulling in energy and emitting energy, and it's constantly refreshing any energy that it conducts. So now you take this shape and you do something like what our ancestors did, add agnite rock or granite rock. Anybody who knows anything about minerals or crystals know that these certain rocks are very, very high electrical conductors and conduct energy frequencies very high. So now you have a shape, a geomancy or geometric two shapes in one forming a pyramid, which automatically is an energy refresher. And then you put minerals on it that cater to it, and you got yourself a giant electrical conductor. So we build according to mathematics and science. But outside of that, family, shapes manifest reality. Anything that has a certain shape must fall under the law of the reality due to the energy being subject and only allowed to do what that shape allows it to do. So understand that circles allow energy to flow. So anything in life that's a circle is flowing. For example, even energy, even sports, football, the field is square, but the stadium itself is a giant oval, circle. Basketball, the court is square, but the stadium itself is an oval. Why? Because there's players running up and down, crowd, emotions. Energy must be able to flow throughout the stadium. So start looking at the way the world is built around you and see what's going on in there, and you will be able to tell almost what takes place inside this building without you even going in there. Just by the building being built in a circular motion, you can tell that energy is flowing around this building. Or by it being built in a square, you can be able to tell that this energy is being contained in this building. So this building is symbolic to containment. Or just by being in a pyramid, such as Egypt, you can tell that energy is constantly being refreshed and ascended, and as well as emitted, as well as taken in. So start paying attention to your surroundings and the shape and the geometric shapes of the structures in everyday life. And with that being said, family, every shape conducts energy, but I just use those three as a basic stepping stone because I don't like to feed people too much. I want you to go research for yourself. And outside of that, the last thing I want to say is that without diminishing or adding on to the size of a circle, every shape can fit inside of a circle, but a circle cannot fit inside any shape. Remember that. Why? Because the circle is symbolic to life. It's perfect. It represents perfection. It allows all energy to flow. So you can put a square, a triangle, a hexagon, an octagon, and all kind of a polygon, all kind of shapes can fit inside of the circle, but the circle can't fit inside of any shape without diminishing its size or tailoring it to fit. If you just had the same size shapes all laid across, every one of those shapes could fit inside the circle, but the circle couldn't fit inside any shapes. Why? Because all shapes are born from the circle. Just like all things are born from the circle. The circle is symbolic to what? The womb. All things are born from the womb. The womb of not just the black woman, but on an astral scale, the womb of the universe. So with that being said, pay attention to shapes, because shapes actually manifest your reality. Depending upon the shape or the structure, depends upon the law of energy that you will be subject to when dealing with such a shape. And with that being said, family, peace.